6 white former law enforcement officers have pleaded guilty to charges related to the torture of 2 black men. CNN's Ryan Young reports on the unthinkable violence that unfolded just this year in Mississippi. And a warning, this story contains graphic content.
They became the criminals they swore to protect us from.
They allegedly call themselves the Goon Squad, a group of 6 white former Mississippi law enforcement officers giving themselves that moniker because of their alleged willingness to use excessive force and not to report. Now they pleaded guilty to federal charges related to an assault that, according to a charging document, included nearly 2 hours of torture, physical, racist, and sexual abuse of 2 black men after a white neighbor complained. Several black males had been staying at the property and the neighbor had observed suspicious behavior. The officer who received the complaint directed an investigator to take care of it. On January 24th, 6 law enforcement officers entered victims Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins' home without a warrant.
Handcuffing the victims behind their backs and using racial slurs and derogatory language when yelling at the victims, discharging a firearm in order to scare and intimidate the victims, holding them down and pouring cooking oil, milk, alcohol, and chocolate syrup on their faces and into their mouths, forcing them to painfully and involuntarily ingest those liquids, striking one of the victims with objects including a metal sword, a piece of wood, and a wooden kitchen implement, kicking one of the victims in the ribs, tasing the victims dozens of times with department-issued tasers, and stealing personal belongings from the house.
It ended with Jenkins getting shot in the mouth, the bullet lacerating his tongue, breaking his jaw, and exiting out of his neck. For months, there was a lot of doubt about the official account of what took place. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety releasing a statement the day after the incident saying only the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is investigating an officer-involved shooting, but that didn't encapsulate the horror. In July, I spoke to Parker, Jenkins, and Jenkins' mother and toured the home where the crimes occurred.
I crawled here to this spot, and they started beating me here and tasing me. As you can see, blood spots and all. And my blood spots there.
Jenkins' injuries make it difficult for him to speak.
I'm embarrassed.
Has anyone from the department ever reached out to you and apologized? Have they ever asked for anything at all?
Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey spoke at a press conference about the incident in late June.
I believe in my heart that this department remains one of the best departments in our state, and I'm committed to doing everything in my power to keep this department on a correct path moving forward.
Yesterday, he issued an apology and said he didn't fully understand the gravity of the crimes committed until recently. Federal authorities began their review in February. They, along with the state of Mississippi, were able to secure guilty pleas of all accused.
Not only did they brazenly commit these acts, but after inflicting serious bodily injury by firing a shot through one of the victim's mouths, they left him lying in a pool of blood, gathered on the porch of the house to discuss how to cover it up. What indifference, what disregard for life.
A life that will never be the same for either of these 2 men.
It's hard to stand right here, knowing, what happened right here. Justice is what it all boiled down to. I'm just like them, whether they in uniform or not.